All right, we brought it inside here because the neighbor's yard crew feels like showing up right as I'm trying to do a video. Whatever. Anyway, continuing on here, we have new grips, left and right, new handlebar switch, new key switch, new choke cable, new gas cap. You know, it has the fuel gauge built into it, so it's got a little float in there. The old one was kind of rusty, so it wasn't worth it, so we went ahead and replaced it. All the electronics under here, you know, the coil, CDI, all those things are new. New stator over here. We cleaned and improved the pull start mechanism. It was very sluggish, so it needed a thorough maintenance job. We greased all the front A-arm areas, greased the wheels also here. What else? New tubing, you know, for the carburetor. Basically all the vent hoses were in bad shape. They were either brittle or cracked or not worth it, so all that's been replaced. We did some heat sheathing, you know, around the choke cable there, as well as around the oil line. Oil line has been replaced also because it was leaking and cracked and brittle. What else? Of course, new spark plug. New spark plug cable, or, you know, all that is new. The coil and the cable and the spark plug. New top end, piston rings, gaskets. What else? We cleaned out the inside of the exhaust. It was got a lot of oil and residue, you know, which will make it smoke badly. What else? We checked all the motor mounts. They were in good shape. Even though this thing vibrates quite a bit, I guess that's just how they are. You know, they vibrate. So whatever. Runs good though. Runs good. Starts right up every time. Secured some of the wiring back here. You know, it was just a little loose. New tail light bulb. It's actually a brake light also. I didn't know that, but it is. And that's a special brake light bulb. You know, it's not the typical automotive one that you can get in most auto parts stores. This one is a little bit unique. So, got that. We cleaned all the throttle mechanism. You know, this is a problematic area on these models, and the little contacts inside there can be a problem and make it not run properly. So all that's been cleaned and looked into. We topped off, you know, your brake fluid. The brake fluid looked good actually. So I think the brakes have been bled relatively recently, because all the fluid front and rear looked pretty good. It did not look dark or nasty, and it checked out with our little tester. So someone has done a brake job on it, or brake bleed, not too long ago. What else? We checked over all clamps and boots and whatnot. All that looks good. We lubricated the gear shifter, little pivot area right here. Just a common maintenance item. Checked all nuts and bolts all over the thing. Some were a little loose. Transmission fluid looked good actually. It looked clean, so I think that's been relatively recent. But we did top it off some. But it did look clean. What else? You know, it could use a new set of tires. These are, the rears are not awful, but it could use a new set. This one has a plug in it, tire plug right there, so That's how it was already. So it might have a very minor slow leak. Front brake pads looked good, but the rears were completely shot. Here's your rear pads. And they were abnormal too. See how one is thicker than the other? That usually means the pins that hold it in place are kind of crusty and needed cleaning, which we did also. There's the original handlebar switch. It was in rough shape. And it's a common problem on these also. It'll prevent it from running properly or running at all. So we went ahead and swapped it out. And I'd have to look at the total list to see if there's anything else, but all kinds of new hoses and lines and whatnot, and clamps, you know, clamps for all this stuff. Some of it we replaced. Cleaned out, you know, the airbox right here. It was very filthy. In good shape now. Clean the body, even though it looks original, and you know, general scratches, but it was filthy. So was underneath. All that was really filthy, so we cleaned all that. It could use an even better cleaning, quite honestly, but we did the best we could. Yeah, see how the brake pins right there, how clean they are up top. Those brake pins, if it'll focus, they get crusty and they'll prevent the brake pads from retracting properly, which will make them wear abnormally. The left and right pad will start to wear abnormally if those brake pins get kind of crusty. So we cleaned them with the steel brushes, tightened everything back here. Some of this was loose, you know, around the axle area. Fully charged battery. Anything else? Cleaned out the inside of the fuel tank. It was kind of rough. Whatever. Let's see. Throttle cable. The throttle cable was okay. It was just a choke cable that we replaced. And I think that's about it. Let's see, new gaskets, you know, at the exhaust right there, an exhaust manifold. In fact, we went ahead and replaced the exhaust manifold because it was warped. And there's a gasket behind it, so we would replace that also, just to prevent any exhaust leaks. Everything else looked pretty good. The springs looked fine, you know, the exhaust springs. All lighting works good. Lighting has a nice little brake light also. I did not know it had a brake light, so that's pretty cool. She runs good, man. Runs good. I'm pleased with how it runs. Fires right up every time. Of course, it needs some gas. It's almost out of gas. Yeah, it needs gas. Whatever. But that's about it. It is looking good, running good, and ready to rock and roll. So that's it. 2006 Polaris Trailblazer 250 two-stroke is all good and finished. Y'all have a great day.